Good evening, everyone. Today, our 1563rd Cheonshim Won Visual Devotion. Everyone here, I express my deep gratitude and congratulations. As you stack this tower of devotion, there will come a moment where this tower will reach the heavens. Now, we are running towards the 1600th visual devotion, and 160th, it is a goal that you reach when you repeat 40 days 40 times. And you will see that once this tower of devotion reaches heaven, heaven will work. Today, worldwide, we are connected to about 20,000 locations, and we have about 42,600 members offering devotion with one heart. Heavenly Korea, Cheonwon Special District has 170 members here in the main branch. Cheonshim Church has 57, and Iksan Church has 47. And Changwon, in this order, the churches of Heavenly Korea are stacking their tower of devotion. And today, Samseok Church reaches their 600th visual devotion. Although it may be a small church, they are still stacking their tower of devotion. And while offering devotion, today Cheonshim Church, in this 40-day workshop, they have 8 members of that church currently participating in this 40-day workshop. We have 72 Korean 40-day workshop trainees, and 8 of them are from the Cheonshim Grand Church. If we all just keep on sending members to these 40-day workshops, then our Korean churches will keep on growing. There are with 2 academy members, Cheonshim Grand Church has 10 names on a banner, and they keep on offering devotion with calling out name prayers. Iksan Church has 3 people currently in the 40-day workshop, and with people on abroad mission, on their banner they have 8 people listed. But the name of Iksan Minister Moon Bae-kwan, his daughter's name was on the banner, but she graduated from the 7th class of the academy, so they took her name off the banner. But truly, she served in the academy for 1 year very diligently, and today she graduated. Today, 13 of our 7th class of our spirituality academy, 13 of them offered service for 1 year, and 29 of them are those who volunteered for 6 months. So for our those who graduated today, let's offer them a great round of applause. It is a very important time to deepen your roots of faith. Our first generation members, before receiving the blessing, they attend many workshops, and even after receiving the blessing, they are sent to their own fields. And once sent to their field, they have a habitual life of praying and offering devotion and witnessing. But our second generations don't have this foundation, and they start their families. And at times, they're influenced by the outside world, and they lose faith in the church, and they even curse at the church. But in truth, this spirituality workshop, this attendance workshop, and the spirituality academy These workshops are very important for deepening the roots of faith of our second and third generation. Heavenly Japan and Nagano Church, we have 17 members gathered and praying. And they encourage all members to attend online via Zoom or on YouTube. So Heavenly Japan alone has 15,400 connections online. With this power of devotion, we believe that Heavenly Japan will take flight. Today, currently, we have 505 long-term workshop trainees. And today, in front of the detention center, they're offering devotion, which reached its 234th day. True Mother is facing her 234th day of difficulty, and we pray for her health and her return. Today, in front of detention center, we have Kwanak Cheonshim Gure Ansan Church with earnest prayers and special devotion that is connected with Cheonshim Won, is creating a great resonance with heaven. So beyond simple prayers that just require time and heart, it will become prayers of love and truth. So today's 1563rd Cheonshim Won Special Visual Devotion this devotion that's offered with tears will open a path toward victory. This was a message from Pastor Sung In-young. Through unchanging devotion for the works of Heavenly Parent to be fulfilled, I hope you all pray for this. Today, Hong Yeon-jung, Spirituality Workshop trainee of the 7th class, she was in the academy for a year and she gave her testimony. It seems that her mother is very active in the church while receiving IV drips every other day and works for the church even though it's very physically tiring. And when she asked her mother that, she answered because she is happy to work for Heavenly Parent True Parents. Do you also feel the same way? Offering vigil devotion at nights and being very tired, going to sleep without even washing or taking a shower. And if you're happy, then you're like Hong Yeon-jung's mother. But if you're thinking, oh, I'm so tired, I'm gonna faint. If you have this mentality, then I believe you have to offer more devotion. But this mother, even receiving or taking IV drips and having a happy heart, working for Heavenly Parent True Parents, the daughter couldn't understand the mother and always had to ask questions. And suddenly she had depression during university, and she took a leave of absence. And she came to a 40-day workshop, and after receiving the workshop, she also staffed workshops, I believe, and also attended the 14th spirituality workshop. And she was going to volunteer for her church, but then she came and entered the 7th class of the spirituality academy. And she came to staff the Cheonshim Residence Workshop. And the trainees of this workshop pray truly earnestly. And seeing the trainees, the members, praying like that, she said she was very moved. How earnestly they are praying, that is what is important. Rather than how much you feel, how earnest your heart is while praying. Through the mothers who were praying in the residence prayer workshop, she was able to have this realization. And meeting mother in Cheonwon and singing, offering praise to true mother, the academies had this precious time. But shortly after that, true mother had to walk the path of difficulty. And she had a dream about what kind of place the Cheonshim Won is. Seeing 7 big drums and seeing members and public officials offering prayer. And as seeing the mothers offering sincere prayer, like offering their children toward heaven, seeing all this, she tried to leave the Cheonshim Won, but the doors were closed. But then, hearing the words Yeongseong Academy, the doors were open. So what place is Cheonshim Won? Cheonshim Won is a place where devotion is accumulated. So through the accumulated devotion that is in the Cheonshim Won, Heavenly Parents, heaven is working through that devotion that is accumulated in Cheonshim Won. So establishing this amazing devotion, foundation of devotion, you should ask, how much of my devotion is in that foundation? Now, if you go to the spirit world, you can use the time machine to go back in time. And seeing yourself offer devotion and offering praise and doing chanting also, when you think of yourself that appearance of you offering this devotion is a very inspiring appearance, then day by day, I hope you imagine yourself looking in a third person's perspective. I hope you offer ever more diligent devotion. So our Cheonshim Won devotion, what foundation it had. We are offering the 1563rd Vigil Devotion, and I hope we can truly reflect on how important this devotion is. And while serving in the academy, she said that the greatest grace was attending the 2026 blessing. And she said she will inherit the devotion of her parents and establish a family. I believe she will be even greater than her mother, even though her mother offers so much devotion and was having to take IV jobs every other day. And she made a determination of no matter what trials may come, she will be a child who protects mother, true mother. So this wasn't a short period. For 40 days, and also spirituality 40 days, and also served in the academy for 1 year. So what she experienced during this time, I believe it will be of great strength throughout her entire life. And today, from the Spiritual Academy, Kwon Kyung-min also gave a testimony. He thought he was attending a cult forcefully against his will. And hearing how the world viewed the church, he distanced himself even more. And if things went well for him in society, then he wouldn't have come back. But when he was distant from the church, he wasn't happy. He returned to his studies after being discharged from the military, But then depression found his way, and he spent his days very numbly. And as time passed, his will to live disappeared little by little. So distancing yourself from the church is not lead to happiness. There are many second generations who are distant or dormant from the church. And all of those second generations aren't living happy lives, but if you look in detail, they are experiencing difficulties that are hard to express with words. That is the providence of heaven. If you walk the wrong path, then there lies the providence of restoration through indemnity. And when we think about this human history, we must understand that leaving this church is the start of misery. Knowing this, we must move forward. So, during that point where he was losing the will to live, what gave him strength was his grandparents. Although they had amnesia, they still didn't forget the love that they had for their grandson. And through the love of his grandparents, he was able to walk the path of recovery. Although the love of the mother and father are great, the love of grandparents is also great. And also the love of the great-grandparents is also great. It's big as well. So President Cheonshim, I don't know if you're a great-grandfather yet. If you become a great-grandfather, then I believe the size of your love will be great or bigger. Recently I saw a fourth generation be born, and at the same time, the emergence of a great-grandfather. So my grandmother said she would have no regret dying if she held her great-grandchildren and her children. To that extent, great-grandparents truly love their great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandparents can love even more. And the grandparents of 430 generations up, would they think that, oh, I have nothing to do with you today? They could give even greater love. So, Heavenly Parent's love, Heavenly Parent who created this world, how great His love would be. These fallen people don't know Heavenly Parents, so they cannot lay down their roots. That is why the Messiah comes to this land. True parents have come, and they show love of Heavenly Parents. This is the love of heaven. This is true love. Living this way is a life of true life. Living this way is living with true lineage. So those who are connected to the original lineage, then they will live upon love. And those who have left love are those who left the original lineage. Because Adam and Eve left true Heavenly Parent's love, they entered the position of death. In this long 6,000-year history of restoration, Heavenly true parents came down with true love, true life, and true lineage, and made this Cheonwon complex. And to all of humanity, established fully the roots of true life, true love, and true lineage for humanity here, and made Cheonjonggung. And for Heavenly Parents to govern the world, establish Cheonwongung as well. So we are to deepen our roots in Heavenly Parent and true parents, and if we do so on the individual level and on the family level, we will achieve great victory. You don't have to worry about whether the will be fulfilled or not. It will be fulfilled. And yesterday there was a gathering of the early members, and someone received a reward. And it's been 51 years since their blessing. And in that 51 years, they expanded to 25 people. Children, grandchildren, wife. Like that's altogether, it's 25 people. 2 people became 25, I believe. So, if 10 years pass, then perhaps that'll become 30 people, and if 20 years pass, then that will become 50 people. Like this, your family would expand. And my mother is still alive, and within our family, we have over 60 family members. And I have a grandson. Oh, and on May 5th, we had another grandchild. So my mother, she has 16 great grandchildren. Yeah. So if we just fulfill our responsibilities as Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, then we expand. Even if our churches are dissolved or disappear, if our members live as Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, then the authority of heaven will come down to this land. Don't worry about whether the will be fulfilled or not. Through the restoration, the principles of restoration, we are the people who truly, concretely studied how the history of the providence of restoration through indemnity was carried out. And without the son seeing what the father is doing, the son can do nothing. And Moses, that path that Jesus walked, and in the end the true parents came to this land, and they're walking the path of difficulty, and every time there's an incident, we are to, when we compare that true parent situation to the situation of Jesus, then we can see that heaven's providence is within all of it. But this doesn't end with trials and difficulty. At the end of this difficulty, the day of victory awaits. So in the midst of this difficulty, we are to embrace hope and endure this difficulty. Through difficulty, we realize while receiving difficulty, if we pray and offer devotion, then heaven will teach us through revelation and visions. God to Joshua said, I will put my words in your mouth, so be strong and be bold. This is a rough translation of a Bible verse. So through us, Heavenly Parents is working. The leaders, they are not speaking of their own words, but being representatives of true parents. They work. And if heaven can work through all of our leaders, then our church will reach an age of great revival. Although our churches in heavenly Japan have been dissolved, if all leaders truly become representatives of our true parents, then through holy experiences that were unprecedented until now, great works will appear where we can have amazing testimonies of the rebirth and the great works that are happening in heavenly Japan. So through the love of the grandparents and through the recommendation of the sister who already went to a spirituality workshop, he entered the 16th spirituality workshop. But how difficult it was for him, he started to blame the family of his difficulties. And on the 34th day, he had a counseling session with the coordinator. And the coordinator said, Mr. Pyeongmin, I don't think you ever lived a proactive life of faith. You lived a life of a passive life of faith until now. So hearing those words, he made a resolve to be more proactive and empty his heart. And from the 34th day, with a heart, with the ownership mindset, he attended the workshop. So everyone attending the 40-day workshop, the spirituality workshop, and attend this workshop, you must not live a passive life of faith. You must offer praise and offer prayer that comes from your own will. And if you do so, then Heavenly Parent will bestow upon you grace. So many people have been in the world for years and they have this dead skin all over them. And would this dead skin come off in a day? But for our trainee here, he was able to rid of his dead skin within 6 days. But on the 40th day, on the last day, he was able to realize that he himself wasn't the only one who went through difficulty. There were those who went through perhaps the same things and perhaps went through worse and more difficult experiences. And seeing the other trainees offer praise with tears, suddenly he found himself shedding tears uncontrollably. The trainees have faced a great revival. And seeing the other trainees revived, Heavenly Parent was happy. And seeing these trainees who were revived, Mr. Pyeongmin couldn't control his tears. And originally he planned to only volunteer in the media team for 1 month, but eventually he resolved 6 months. But when he reached his 5th month, he was facing immense difficulty and wanted to quit. But through the leader's advice and said to endure, he eventually endured until the end of the 6 months. And now he could truly see that he's really different from himself from 1 year ago. And he was able to have a new start with absolute faith. And he made a great resolution to go to West Africa, where branch leader Sakwa Takamitsu is. And so let's give him a great round of applause for that amazing resolve. He truly became a new person. Amongst our branches, our West African branch is the most difficult. And our branch leader Sakwa Takamitsu, I believe our Mr. Pyeongyang will be a very great source of strength to him. 아주? And our branch leader Cheonshim Won, when he was in America, to our American second generations, he said, you have to go and volunteer in Africa to know how good America is. So if you go to Africa, at least even one time, then they express their gratitude to their parents. And when they go to Africa, they come back a changed people. So children who have resentments and have many complaints, then send them to Africa for education. Wow. Because we have great hope in this spirituality academy, this academy, spirituality workshop, attendance workshop, these are programs that are led by the spirit world. Those who know this quickly can rise to high positions quickly as well. During today's graduation ceremony, I shared a message that a pure water received. This is True Father's message. Once you graduate and return to your own positions, many temptations will find your way. More than what you experienced here, greater temptations will come to you. Many trials will find your way to bother you on this path of the will. But you must offer devotion and move forward. The greatest temptation you have will be sloth. And many of you will stop offering devotion. And saying that you're busy, many of you won't attend visual devotion. Heavenly parents direct children live a life of advancement on a daily basis. Whether it's big or small, you must advance every day. For that, the devotion that you offer today, every day you must do a little. And if you advance like this, you'll be able to find yourself moving forward. And no matter how difficult the situation is, if you take even a step forward, then the path toward victory is open. We, the children, must live like this every day. Before your limits, before your patience, before your fear, you must always be able to say a little more. And if you live in such a way, then in your lives, putting into practice Heavenly Parent's words, within the love of heaven, within the love and grace of heaven, you'll be able to live lives of direct children of Heavenly Parents. So no matter where you go, you won't be exhausted and you won't give up. And if you put into practice what you've learned here, then Heavenly Parent will absolutely lead you to the path of victory. So, to those who live lives of faith, the most important thing is to know the providence that Heavenly Parent is leading. Coming into this church, how many times have we heard the word providence? The providence of restoration, the providence of portion of responsibility, the responsibility of the providence of restoration through indemnity, providence. And this providence also is related to my church, and being a person that can lead this providence. Such people become the most successful people in the history of providence. And Grandfather Noah was a great leader of the providence, and Abraham was also a great leader of the providence. Do you think it's easy to follow the providence when you have to sacrifice your child? They followed this providence that is beyond human comprehension. Moses did the same thing, saving the Israelites from the king. That seemed impossible. But they followed the path of the providence. Jesus did the same thing. Rather than my will, do as you wish. Jesus was the one who was the one. Rather than my will, do as you wish. Jesus was the one who lived according to the providence. True Father was the same. He was on a way to just get more rice, but then he heard the voice of Heavenly Parent and went all the way up to North Korea. So starting from this place, Cheonpyeong, we must expand to the world. And to America, and after that he went to Washington and then went to Moscow. While leading this providence, True Father said we achieved everything, and left us with this last prayer. Left Foundation Day to True Mother, and to us left us the mission of fulfilling the responsibility of Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, and left us the homework to restore 397 nations. But because we did not fulfill the mission of the Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, because we did not make the proper environment to attend True Mother, that is why we are paying indemnity now. And there was the request of True Mother to make a worldwide foundation, but we couldn't do that, so True Mother said we should at least restore Gapyeong. But we didn't do that either. So all blessed families must start anew with a new determination and resolution. The seeds of the true blessed families, we must move forward with a new resolution. This most important time. If you say you died just eating, sleeping, and living, how embarrassing that is. How many 성화식s there are these days.
그런데 영계에 올라가는 순간에 이 엄중한 시대에 엄중한 때를 맞이해서
But in this
먹고 자다가
important
영계 왔다 그러면은
in dire age, if you just
영계 가서 어떻게
go to the spirit world after eating and sleeping, how could you lift your head?
이세가 돼가지고
Being a second generation,
수련도 받지 않고
not even receiving the or attending the spirituality workshop, living the way you want, and having depression
끊는 것이
and
내가 할 일이다 싶어가지고 스스로 목숨을 끊고 영계 올라간다.
taking your own life and going to the spirit world.
기가 막힌 일이 벌어지겠습니까?
What do you think will happen there?
천년 만년을 두고 후회를 한다 한들 그 후회를
Regretting for 1,000, 10,000 years.
없는 겁니다.
There's no way to
그래서 우리 자녀들
undo that regret.
믿음 없는 자녀들이 있으면
So, amongst our children, if they do not have faith, then you must offer prayer and devotion. You must beat these evil spirits
그런 일이 벌어지고 있기 때문에
because they are being influenced by evil spirits. You must offer devotion that moves heaven. And from
우리
the chains of sin,
2세, 3세, 4세 자녀들을 죄악의 사슬로부터 끊어내고
our blessed families, our second, third, fourth generations, you must break them free from the chains of sin
이 거룩한 부름 앞에
and from the holy call to make
부름 받아야 되겠다는 마음을 갖고
천일국.
온전한 탑을 쌓아가는
Hearing that call, you must offer devotion
복이 함께 하시기를
to hire this tower of devotion today too. And I hope that heaven's blessing is with you today as well. Thank you so much.
오늘도 너무나 귀한 말씀으로 우리들의 심령을 깨워주신 이기성 천심
Let us offer another great round of applause to President Lee Gi-sung, who gave us
감사합니다.
such precious words that awakened our hearts.
한